Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Marvel Comics presents issue number 6. This is the first comic I'm reviewing this week for a very good reason. Listen, there was this, why am I whispering? There was this secret thing going out amongst the comic book retailers. They're like, don't tell anybody about this, but make sure you don't slouch on all of the orders that you're going to do for this particular book, all right? Because something cool happens in this book. They didn't say what. Something cool happens in this book, though. And you definitely want to make sure that you got all the proper books in your, whatever, your order, so that you don't run out. Or at least you don't run out too quickly. It's funny. It worked. That doesn't happen very often, where they say something like that. And it's a good thing, because that would be stupid if they overused it. But by them doing that, by the time that most people got around to the reordering, all out. They didn't print enough of these books. So I am making this a special midnight release. All right. So the second that it strikes freaking midnight Wednesday morning, long before your comic book store opens, I also explained this in my This Week in Comics book. In my This Week in Comics video. Don't slouch on this. And you're going to understand why in just a hot minute. First, let's get into the book itself. This features Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and Deadpool. 3 different stories. Which Ghost Rider? Well, here's one of the many reasons, one of the minor reasons. Danny Ketch. We finally got Danny Ketch back. Yeah, that's right. Danny Ketch is back in the current Marvel Universe. And yeah, let's get into that in a minute. First off, we got the Wolverine story. Writer Charles Soule, penciler Paulo Siqueira. I did the best I could. Oren Jr. on inks. Frank D'Armata on colors. VC's Joe Caramagna on letters. And the cover artists are Arthur Adams and Federico Blee. Boom. So there you go. This is Wolverine, The Vigil, Part 6. So this is Part 6 of who knows. What do you call it? We get a couple characters here. We got Talisman, that's the daughter of Shaman from the Alpha Flight, and she's talking to Wolverine back in this must be in the 90s. Yeah, 1995, because I'm looking at these costumes. And the demon called the Truth. This has happened a couple times. We've seen this before. This is going to be the 4th battle that Wolverine has with this character. And all of the members of that family, the D'Souza, I can't remember which family it is, but there's that family of witches that they would go and take care of Sylvie's family, the clan d'Arcanes in the French Alps. They are no longer able to help Wolverine. There's no more witches for the most part. There's no more witches. So this demon is just going to come out and is just going to start killing people. And Wolverine, of course, can't allow that. So what happens? The X-Men go out there with Talisman, and Talisman, she gets taken down quick before she can learn the spell. She had no idea what was going on. Nobody was prepared for this. And they wound up suffering, and the Truth, this demon, was about to kill everybody. And then suddenly, somebody shows up. This is a brand new character. I'm pretty sure this is the exact reason why they were suggesting as much. And look at what she does with her hands. That looks like magic to me. You read the story, and it turns out it's a whole lot more like magic. Now, here's a question. Who is this character? I'm going to give you a spoiler right now. So if you don't want to know what's about to happen, but at the same time, making this into a key issue, there's something here. I just want you to read what happens here. You don't want to see this. I'll tell you when I put the thing down. I'm going to hold up for a couple seconds. You read it. Yeah. If you were able to pause on that and read that, or you didn't need to pause, this is apparently a very crucial new character in Wolverine's life. Interesting. The next story is a Deadpool story. Writer Tim Seeley, so you know it's got to be good. Artist Riley Brown, inker Craig Young, color artist David Ramos, and VC's Joe Caramagna on letters. First appearance, Red Hot Rays, featuring Deadpool. So we get Rays in this book. It's interesting, and the one comic book shop owner here has a shirt, FBI, female body investigator or inspector. Yeah, I know a guy who had that shirt back when I was a kid. Reappearance of the Four Freedoms Plaza, because this takes place back in the 90s, 1991 to be specific. And this is a very fun story. This is a genuinely fun story where Deadpool decides to quit what he's doing to join the comic book industry. He decides he's going to make comic books. He's going to sell comic books from this point and actually start making them pretty soon too. He is the man at this point. Now, so yes, very fun issue. Very fun issue. Plus a new costume for Deadpool, Chromia costume for Deadpool. There's a Ghost Rider story. Writer Ed Brisson, so you know it's going to be good. Artist Juan Frigeri, did the best I could. Andreas Mosa on colors, and VC's Joe Caramagna on letters. Yeah, dude, this is this was an interesting issue. It's Danny Ketch. He now owns the Fadeaway Bar. That's what it's called, right? The Fadeaway Bar, I think it was. Yes, the Fadeaway Pub. He owns that now. And interesting. Wallow is the main bad guy in here, and Danny has to fight. And it's a very interesting way that he battles him. But somebody goes to hell. I'm not going to tell you who. You're going to have to figure that on your own. But I'm going to show you the page, the spoiler of what happens when this individual goes to hell. Here's the spoiler right here. Yeah, you know who that is. You know who that is. Therefore, this book ties into everything else. By the way, this story doesn't seem to take place in the 90s. Let me go back and just see, like, does it actually say when this issue starts? No, it doesn't say what year this takes place. So this is essentially current day. Every time that we meet a Ghost Rider in the stories nowadays, somehow, somewhere, everybody goes to hell, and they meet freaking the original main Ghost Rider, the original Spirit of Vengeance Ghost Rider, in hell as the new king of hell. All three of these stories are interesting. All three of these stories are, I don't know, the first and the last story is relevant. I don't know if Deadpool's ever particularly overly relevant, but it's Seeley. He'll probably find a way to make it, modern somehow. But these three characters, dude, you got Danny Ketch back in the world, and it leads to something crazy. You've got a cool Wolverine story where we've got this new character who, as it turns out, spoilers, is a daughter of Wolverine. And yeah, this is a hell of a comic book, man. Like, Marvel Comics presents, this is what they used to be back in the 90s. This right here. This. All right? The previous issues, they just weren't that great. I fell off the book. I read this. Good job, Marvel. Because now I've got to get the next issue. I got to get the next issue. What kind of a dope would I be if I didn't get it? Because there's a whole lot happening here, and I'm imagining we're going to have a whole lot more to go. Now, here's the trick. If we're just going to have some dumb freaking new Wolverine's daughter in this, who cares, right? But if it's more than that, if this is more than that, if this is something where maybe it's his daughter, maybe it's not, maybe it's somebody else, but it's a new character, if this character is going to somehow become relevant, all right, and somehow keep on coming back to the Earth 616 universe, the current Marvel universe, then awesome. This is the first appearance. We're probably going to get an origin story in the next issue. This could be important. So we'll see. Again, if the insiders start wasting that whole, hey, make sure you don't slouch on the orders for this book, well, then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But this is something else. So guys, do what you can. Order this comic book. Pre-order it someplace. Like if there's I don't know. this stuff, because I actually go to I'm fortunate enough to be able to go to a comic book store. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of places where there is no comic book store locally for you guys, or you got to drive 40 miles to get to a comic book store. That sucks, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're in that situation. But however you order your physical copies of the comic books, grab this. Grab this. If you can get a second print, get a second print, so be it. But definitely get this comic book. If you can pre-order this, put a hold on it, lock down the cover price, then you definitely should. You undeniably should. Don't waste any time on this. This is a call for action for a key issue. All right, guys, that's it from me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.